going to start off with the review of the chapters 10 and 4.
So did everyone read chapters 10 and 4?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay, so Dale, can you tell me what chapter 4 was about? She does not want the microphone.
Chapter 4 is about putting together your presentations, and it breaks it down to different types of styles of presentations.
Let's keep this going. Keep it going.
It breaks it down to the different types, and it gives you examples of how to present.
How to tie it all together and which patterns to use. So Deb, what's a chronological pattern? What's Deb?
Miss Deborah?
Oh, she is here. Alright, sorry, Lynette, what is it? So it goes in order of time, right? And so like, everyone knows what chronological means here, right? For example, we use the chronological format of a resume. There are different formats of resumes. There are different ways to put things together. So chronological pattern is put things together in order of time. What is spatial pattern, Bernita?
Spatial pattern, it's like from left to right, east to west, north to south.
Right. Putting things together spatially. What about topical? What is it, babe?
That's basically what it says. By example.
Can you explain that in a little more detail? So it says that it's actually the easiest one and the one that's most often used is the topical one. Bernita, what?
Organized by the categories and subjects that we're talking about.
I'm sorry?
Organized it by the categories and subjects that we're talking about.
Yes. Were you going to add anything?
Because in order of relationship to the subject.
Yeah. And that's really the important point, I think, the relationship to the subject. There's also the cause and effect pattern, which probably is pretty self-explanatory. The problem solution pattern, so what's the problem, and then you present the solution. The value or importance pattern, so that you give the value to it. Tell them why it's going to matter. What about bluff?
Bottom line up front.
Bottom line up front.
State your case right off the bat.
Exactly. And I think that's something we all became familiar with, especially with the persuasive essays. A lot of people presented those ideas up front. Symposium style. This is typically used in scientific presentations. So Dale's very familiar with it, right?
Can you explain that a little bit for us unscientific folk like me? I need the microphone for you. That's all it is.
And what years was you in?
53.
If you're explaining how to test for salmonella, you would explain the techniques, the different apparatus that you use when you're doing the test.
Right.
To find that sort of test. Just in class in school.
Really?
Science class was the exact same.
What you used it in a school science lab?
Yeah, science and experiments.
Huh.
So your experiments.
Okay.
Sounds about right. Now that you just reminded me, I do kind of remember that process. When I was in school, I had to come
Yeah.
up with a report based on what I saw in that format.
So these are just different types of patterns that can be used to group your ideas. This kind of has to do with the brainstorming topic we talked about the first day of class, how there are different ways that you can brainstorm ideas. You can use the bubble format, you can use outline format, so on and so forth. Let's go to chapter 10. Does anyone have any questions on chapter 4 otherwise? It was just to kind of get you guys familiar to the sort.
Those are going to be different types of techniques you can use to do your presentations when you get set up in your different groups and everything. You can figure out how you want to explain it to the class in whichever one of those formats you think would be the easiest to explain to them. Like if it was a scientific experiment, you're trying to explain it to a group of people who don't have a lot of scientific experience, then you would try to come up with it in more of a topical pattern rather than try to use it in a symposium pattern, since people are not going to know exactly what you're talking about in that fashion. Topical pattern will probably home in more on what the class area would want to hear. So just keep that in mind, because this is not going to be the only time you see these different types of patterns to use.
So chapter 10, if you guys can turn to page actually 120, there's talked about different ways to deal with anxiety. I think everyone's experienced stage fright at one point in their life, right? Even though a lot of us said that we love public speaking, I think when I came around and talked to you guys in the beginning of class, it's definitely something that's nerve-wracking to the majority of people, right?
Right.
You didn't know. So we want to make sure that there's different ways to combat it. There's a quick quiz that I would like you guys to fill out if you don't want to write in your book.
It's on the paper.
Oh, it's on the paper? Well, that's even better then. If you could do it right now if you haven't done it yet.
There's a quiz for this?
You're done? You already did it?
I did it. I just did it.
Oh, a lot of people already did it. Good. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the fear.
Let's go over it.
What page is that?
So the question. Alright, so we'll go through them right now. The night before a presentation, I cannot sleep. The night before a presentation, I cannot sleep.
How many people feel that way?
Sometimes I
put 3.
I'm sometimes there.
So you're 3?
So
I
number,
put out 4.
so you're supposed to give it a 1 if you strongly disagree.
Oh yeah, that's right. Let's
Right.
get a tally up.
A 2 if you disagree. A 3 if you just don't care. A 4 if you agree.
I like her interpretation. Just
And
okay.
5 if you strongly agree.
So what we do, we ask the question, take a show of hands on whichever number it is. That's going to be on page 120. For those who are not there at this time.
It's in your book too.
I prefer that you not write in the book.
Yeah, because we're turning it back in.
This book.
In your
textbook,
folder.
don't write,
It's
but
the
it's in
fear
your folder.
handout.
It should be a fair handout in your folder.
Mine is on page 23.
Oh yeah, some people have it on page 23 in their workbooks,
Summer 13.
and some are 13.
I don't know.
Mine's is 5.
So we're going to go around the room and do basically a tally. So I'm going to ask the question, and I'm going to get a show of hands for whether it's a 1, 2, 3, or 4, or 5. So for number 1, the night before our presentation, I cannot sleep. How many people got 1? 1?
I got 4.
Who said I've never had to do a presentation?
You never
Really?
had-
Even in school? Yes, you do.
What was that, like 5 years ago?
I say number 4.
So did you get nervous in TNS when you had to stand up and do your 30-second commercial? You didn't seem nervous.
Oh, that's okay.
I mean, that's a very minimal example, but it's still a presentation.
I don't think we get nervous the night before. It was like 10 minutes before we get ready to do the presentation. You don't get that sleep, right? Oh, I'm
So how many people totally disagree with not being able to sleep altogether?
disagree.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Who agree that they can't sleep before a presentation? Everybody else?
We sleep.
You guys are all good sleepers.
Yeah.
That may, I took 4.
I
Yeah.
put a grade.
Okay.
It depends on the subject.
matter, because I do a lot of spoken word, so that's something that I enjoy doing. So
Right.
when I do spoken word, I enjoy getting into it. But when I work, if I have to do a presentation, it depends on who was there. Like if outsiders came in that I wasn't familiar with,
Right.
then I would get a little easy, until I became accustomed to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's natural. Right?
It
That's
depends on your audience.
yeah.
Got it.
That's similar to how I deal with it.
familiar I am with the material.
Okay. Good.
Yeah. Like in what you just said, like if I have something that I really want to say, I get nervous the night before, not because I have to present it, but because I know I want to say it a certain way, and I know what type of audience is going to be there. So I'll have it prepared on how I'm going to do it in my head, and that'll keep me up because I'm overanalyzing it too much. You know. So number 2.
I put 4.
I frequently contribute to discussions at work, in meetings, or in classes.
5.
5.
3.
Okay, that sounds about right.
How many 5s?
That seems about right.
5.
I love to contribute, even if it's wrong. I love it.
That's true too.
I love it. Because if it's wrong, everybody get a good laugh out of it. If it's right, we still get a good laugh out of it. Exactly.
That's
Yep.
true. Alright, I like to help others learn by teaching or instructing them. Any 5s?
I'm a teacher.
Exactly. Yeah, I know, the 3 of you all are.
Yeah, that would be good.
Yep, 4,
Yeah.
okay.
Miss
Good.
Deb, okay. I avoid situations in which I might have to give an unprepared speech.
3.
3. Any 1s or 5s?
5 right here.
What's the one for?
You like to avoid
Strongly
those
disagree.
situations?
Yes,
Why?
Because I wouldn't want to.
Is this something about giving an impromptu something that makes you nervous, or you just don't want it?
Rather not.
Okay.
5 also.
You put 5 also? What's your reason?
And number 3, I put number 3 for the race. So.
Okay.
Okay.
It's hard to do this stuff. You're not prepared.
Yeah. Miss Deb?
I was, well, if I had written it down, I would do 5 because it's always challenging to your brain.
Yeah.
I like to just go for it it sometimes.
Okay. When talking to people, I find it hard to look them in the eye.
Oh, I had a piece of cake.
Strongly disagree.
How you gonna know who's telling the truth
Yeah.
if you don't look them in the eye?
I was taught to do that from a child.
Right, exactly.
It's automatic.
And all of you, Carolyn, what were you gonna say?
I look them in the eye, but I also scan like
The surrounding
a
area.
little, yeah, so it won't be like I'm just
Staring at 'em.
Idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll look them in the eye to let them know something about strength.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so I'll do that, but I'll also have eye movement, so it won't be like
You're
like I
staring,
said,
right.
you know, just trying to find a better word, but it's still all the same thing. Because if you keep staring at her, you don't open your eyes, you just staring at her.
Yeah.
Unless you're angry or something like that.
That's
But I
true.
tend to do, I saw it in the book, but I tend to do it anyway. I just like, I'm looking at it, so you're not constantly staring, you look at the forehead too.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
And there's lots of tricks on that. I think that, eye contact is, personally, I think it's something that seems to improve. Like, if I talk to younger people, I feel like their eye contact may not be as direct, but I think everyone here has amazing eye contact. And I think that's, through the series of experiences and whatnot. Obviously, there's some disabilities that, like ADD or ADHD that are going to make, or autism, that are going to make some eye contact very difficult. So I think that now people are becoming more aware of those circumstances. But I do think that aside, eye contact is extremely important. You just are naturally going to believe someone who looks you in the eye more than you are someone whose eyes are darting all over the place. So I think that especially in our generation and in our society, eye contact can be important.
Yes.
It's also because when you go out into the business or just out in life itself, and that's what people expect of you because they get the message
Right.
that you're acknowledging and that you are actively listening to what they say.
Right.
Yeah.
So I remember taking my granddaughter to an audition, and before she went up, I told her to talk to me, and she made eye contact. She was 10 years old, but when she went to talk to the guy, and he called her back up, he said the most important thing that impressed me was that she was able to
Yeah.
maintain eye contact with me when she talked to me. Because while I was telling her, she was like, Mom, I said, just do it.
Lo and behold.
That's funny you said that. Go ahead. What you say?
I agree with that.
Yeah.
One of the things I remember about eye contact is the eyes on the door to the soul. So if you are able to look at a person while you're talking or while you're talking to them, it helps you to innately communicate as well. Because you pick up some things from a person, that they're nervous or that
Yep.
they are hiding something, that they're dishonest, or that they're or that they mean well. So you can pick up things like that.
No, I get it. No, I do that. You're absolutely right
I'm
though.
joking. I know you're highly intelligent.
That's how I got through life.
And that's what my mother always told me when I was little. I know parents have the responsibility to teach their children when you're growing up. So, rules and how to grow your character. And one of the things she said is, when you talk to somebody, they can't look you in the eye, you best believe they're lying about something.
They lying about something. Yep.
Exactly.
They ain't lying about one thing. They lying about something else.
Call me no
Yep.
lies.
That's what she would say. One thing I learned about looking people in the eye is not so much as trying to get what they got, trying to hide or anything, but if you see that there's a person who's genuinely having some kind of issue, when you look them in the eye, it makes it easier to empathize with them. Like some people don't know empathy. Some people only sympathize, but they don't empathize. And if you don't understand what it's like to be in somebody's shoes, then you can't help them.
Right.
And the only way I know that I can help somebody is I'm able to look you in the eye and I can see your pain in your eyes. I can see your happiness without even trying. It's like another ability. I taught my daughter the same thing, and her look at other people scares them. They don't want to look her in the eye. They think she know too much.
Oh, wiseness of that little girl.
She's been doing that ever since she was 3.
Yeah, wow.
You know, and
It's a different culture now. As I was growing up as well, we was always taught, look someone in their eyes. Look them in the eye. And you see so much. Like she said, you see their soul through their
Yep.
eye. You know, nowadays, kids don't know how to look you in the eye.
yep.
And you know what was strange? When my twins was like just 6 months old, I sent them to Charles Drew School just so they could develop the skill of eye contact.
Really? Where'd you
Yeah.
send them?
It was a Charles Drew School when I lived out west of Glen, and they would come pick my twins up every day, take them to school so they could develop the skill of eye contact.
I
That
like
wasn't that
it.
wild.
Okay.
But
That's
they
awesome.
don't stress that anymore.
And I think it was interesting what Tess said when she came in last class too about the eye contact, right? Anything else that you guys want to add to that, or no?
Mr. D? So, others have made positive comments about my speaking ability. How many people agree with it
Oh,
wholeheartedly?
did we?
Ms. Renita?
Yeah.
That's it.
All right. We'll go back. We'll go
I'm
back.
sorry.
6.
Let's go back. I get very uncomfortable when I'm in a situation that involves a heated debate and I might have to get involved.
Depends on the topic.
Yeah.
I'm neutral. I love a battle.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm like the honey badger. I just don't care.
I say too, because if they in a heated battle,
I like the battle.
I like it.
if they in a battle, and they spirit is really I guess I would say like dark energy. I don't want to be in that.
Yeah.
Right.
I say towards it, but I don't run away from it either. It's like just
Yeah. I don't gravitate towards it. It gravitates towards me.
whatever has on the
And I either deflect or I engage.
So you a bull, you want to fight.
I don't want to fight. I'm peaceful.
No, I don't mean bad. I mean you like that hype of controversy, but not in a negative way. Like I'm so right, you're so wrong. It's like let's express our opinion and just show how strong you are. You know, or for your opinion, and yet you respect the other person's opinion.
Right. Yeah.
You know, but you just don't agree on the same thing. But y'all buddies and y'all go and have lunch after. You know,
Right.
but you know, so it's good to be able to do that. But I say it just depends on the emotion and the energy.
Yeah.
Because I ain't trying to be negative. I want to be positive. So
Yup.
if they in a negative, now I might every time I might have to step in and say, wait a minute, let's you know, like let's come to a medium. You know, I've had what you call a medium, but most of the time, if it's something that I don't need to get in, I ain't gonna get in. But if I have to, I'm not afraid to.
Mr. Patrick.
I got 5.
Oh, you got 5?
That's right.
You agree?
That's right.
You get very uncomfortable? Why? Why do you get uncomfortable?
Oh, it said uncomfortable. I said comfortable.
You are comfortable? Why?
Well, I'm comfortable.
Yeah, why are you comfortable? Who
I
makes you
know what I
comfortable in
wanna
that
do,
situation?
and when they tell me I can't do it, it makes me a little upset. They don't know what I can do.
I'm so sorry.
No.
You mean when it comes to your ability?
Yes, you have to let me show me what I can do.
Right.
Tell me I can't do it.
Yeah, I like that. Ms. Barbara?
I like to try to calm. So I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And we have to look at it also from the perspective of a supervisor or manager, where he was subordinate
have to get in, you don't have a choice a lot of times.
Yep.
So that's when you have to use tact and, you know, kind of approach them and not get involved, but still set everybody straight
Yep.
in the same breath. So
Yep.
you can really nice, nasty tell somebody in their face without them realizing that you're doing that.
Yep.
I like that.
That's a skill that you have to
Yeah,
learn
that's
too, but that's a skill.
So you say speak up for yourself, but respect.
Well, I'm speaking from, because I've always been in management hours, so whenever I had static, that was pretty much how I was happening. Especially dealing with someone who was confrontational, and they would want to come at me. So I didn't want to, I wouldn't stoop down to their level, but I would go back at them in a way that they don't know that I'm slapping them down, but they can accept, they're receptive
Yup.
to me intervening without feeling, you know, so what the hell is she talking about, you know?
Mhm.
So it's,
Yep. When I was a correction. Oh, go ahead, Miss
Well,
Howard.
I get put forward because I don't get involved.
Yeah,
I really don't.
it makes you.
I really don't. Certain situations I don't even get involved. Some people have strong personalities. And I just stay back away.
Yeah.
The type of stay away. Let others to deal with it. I'm not in it. I don't know nothing about it. I don't even get involved. I don't want to get involved. I'm not in it. I don't like being involved. Nothing that is too risque or too wild. I don't like it. It makes me, I just feel uncomfortable. I don't like it. I get uncomfortable and nervous quick anyway, so I don't even want to get into nothing heated.
Yeah.
And I'm really going to be a mess.
Right.
Yeah.
Alright, others see your way out of it.
Before we switch gears, I just want to say, like, when I was a correctional officer, one of the things that they would train us in doing, which made me a better speaker at when I do spoken word and everything, is to know how to do conflict resolution through the way you speak. So whenever there was a group of inmates getting together and they want to fight and they ready to they arguing with each other, it was my duty to step in and de-escalate the situation before it got out of hand. And I would do a little bit of what Bernita said and a little bit of what Ms. Dell said. Like, I don't back down from an argument, but I won't make you feel bad about arguing. I'll just make it. I'll make you understand that your argument is not valid at this moment.
Or you have your opinion, you have a right,
Right.
to your opinion, and they have a right to theirs.
Sometimes, because like in a prison, these guys they get worked up over hot water or chocolate milk being spilled on the floor. So their argument is invalid. And you'll find a lot of arguments people get into are just
Surface.
they're just all on the surface. There's no substance to it. So it's exactly not necessary. So I would step in and make it noticeable to them that their argument is unnecessary, and then they stop. And they usually will say, this is the first thing they'll say to me. I never looked at it like that. I never saw it that way. All the time. It always works out that way.
A lot of times our anger comes from when we're arguing about something, it's really stemming from something deeper.
Yeah, it's a self-anger.
Right, that's why
Yeah.
when I first said the word surface, it's because it's something deeper. They might have been fighting over or fussing over hot water for their cocoa, but it really is something else. That's not, like you said, that's really not the
Right.
valid part.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's displaced anger. Yeah, absolutely. Displaced anger.
Good. All right.
Tian said,
So-
he said that he don't back down from an argument. I do. I try my best to choose battles. You can see pain, you can hear it. You can see instigation, you can pick up inferiority, low self-esteem, lack of confidence. You can pick up somebody who's trying to challenge you. So you have to choose your battles.
Yeah.
And when the advantage point is like playing chess. If you can see that, this is my day. I got a white suit on, I'm smelling good, I'm looking good. I'm with me all day. I'm with me, and I'm feeling good, and I'm now in my space. And then here you come with your baggage. I got my own set of luggage. It's a designer set, okay? I got my own set, okay? And I can sense that you want me to pick up 2 more that don't belong to me. I want to choose my battle.
Yeah.
And if I got the cowtail to back down, because I'm going to have my day. This is my space, okay? I'm not going to entertain you because you have an issue. I have issue.
I'm with you there.
Okay,
The
that's
cowtail
wisdom, right? It's not that you're weak. That's wisdom. It all depends how you looking at it. My dress ain't got dirty. My hair ain't messed up. My makeup is still straight. And like you just said, it's not a valid. You have to choose your battle. Is it worth me engaging and to hear you say something, prove a
All
point
that
to you,
energy, yeah.
right? To prove a point to you because you want to be heard and politically correct. You already won. I'm gonna give that to you
Right.
because your space says I'm confident. Your space says I know who I am. My space says I don't need to do that with you. You don't have ears to hear. You're not going to hear me. You want to be heard and not hear two-way conversation. You want to be heard, and I'm supposed to be just here to be seen as a sound brass report. It all depends on the person.
Yeah.
Throughout your engagement with other people, you can see if you're a person who just want to be heard and not having a two-way. Can you choose your battle? You're not a person that receives direction, receive instruction, receive criticism.
Right, 'cause
So
if
leave
you're not
it alone.
careful, if you're not
Leave it
careful
alone.
when you are,
I'm not gonna just take
when
you
you're on a
every
job
day.
and you're having a discussion and it gets heated and it hits you the wrong way, it's like you have to immediately recognize it, like you said.
That's right.
And then you have to say, is this worth it to me? I mean, all this gotta happen in a couple of seconds because if you don't
They'll
get
take you
that,
there.
if you don't get it right away, then you are right out there and then you like embarrassed because you know you could have done something
But that's
different.
also a bait. Some people use it to because they say, you know what,
All right.
you ain't all who you say you are. You know what I'm saying?
Again,
They need
comes
something
with
to
confidence.
identify with you on their level. You know what I'm
So
saying?
so let's
So guys,
switch gears.
let's actually, we're not going to switch gears
Not
completely.
yet.
We're going to use that
That's
to
Yeah.
segue into our active listening discussion. So for homework, you guys were all supposed to come up with an active listening example. And I think that you, Carolyn, I heard you mention an active listening example. So Lynette, do you have an example of active listening that you partook in?
Yes, you do.
Everyone should. Dorothea, what's yours?
Mine says the active listener is the person that shows eye contact with the person who is doing the presentation. That shows them that you are listening to what their presentation is about.
Okay.
When you're showing eye contact, it is good to have eye contact because that will make the speaker know that you are paying attention to what he is saying.
So do you have an example of a time this past week when you participated, when you actively listened to something? I mean, I think we can all think of.
I listened to my fiance this weekend.
Okay,
We
and
had a discussion about something.
good.
And I know he was, really want to do it because we both had eye contact and we came to an agreement,
Good.
so.
Good. Anyone, Eileen, do you have an example? Yes, you do. Come on, everyone should have.
My brain is where it was on a hot drum, so.
Somebody just figure out something.
I know, I wish I.
I got an apple.
Run down to
I'm going to Snowway for it.
You really should.
I know.
I have an
I'm
apple.
sorry.
Angela, what's your example?
Someone that seems interested in whatever I have to say.
Okay, so but like a personal example, do you have what happened this week where someone seemed really interested in what you had to say? Just tell me about the time.
This morning, I was talking to one of my friends, and before she went home, she wasn't feeling well, but she had something she had to do. We were talking, and she seemed really interested, and we were looking at each other eye to eye.
Yeah.
Just had that connection.
So an active
You all
listening,
get better at things.
you guys should be able to come up with examples of active listening because they should be happening all throughout your day. And you should have numerous discussions where you participate in active listening. or where the person you're talking to is actively listening to you. So, for example, I had a meeting at Aqua America this morning about internships. So there was a really good opportunity for both sides. You know, Janet and I met with them, and both of us, they actively listened to us, and we took in their information, their concerns, and then, you know, we were able to have a serious discussion about that. So active listening is just kind of when you attentively listen, you know, you make that eye contact, you engage in the discussion at hand, so you make sure that, you know, you ask questions, you have some sort of conversation going back and forth. Dale, what were you going to say?
What they said, and so that they know that you're listening, because when people, when their heart or their minds are heavy, they want to make sure that someone is really listening to them, not just sitting there listening, but hearing what they're saying. Exactly. When you're actively listening, you have to give some feedback to let that person know that you are in fact listening.
That's a good example. A counselor or, you know, a psychologist or therapist, they're great examples of people who do that active listening all the time. But all of us should hopefully have a lot of examples from our own personal lives. Carolyn?
One of the things about active listening is you're listening to what the person is saying, and the conversation can be so good that you're now thinking about what you're going to say, because what they said, that brings something to your remembrance that you want to point out too, because it's a connection of what they just said. But I found out that when you're having a conversation, you should remain calm, and then when that person has finished their thought process and saying whatever they need to say, then you can say what you need to say, which is what we call a conversation. But sometimes we get out of hand. I'm not speaking in a negative way, but we get out of hand because we're so excited about it. And I'll be like, because I know me, I'll say, oh, yeah, girl, and while they're talking and they're saying something and I connect to it, I'm going, girl, you're right, and this is what, and you know, so, but, you know, so it's like, okay, you just have to calm down. And that's what I do. My body language will release itself from being so excited and then calm down, because I want to finish hearing what they have to say, but yet I don't want to lose my thought on what it is that I'm connected to. And sometimes when I let go, I move on to a different subject and I've never got it out. But I guess enough excitement was already there that it joked something, and then I can move on. I don't know, but communication is really deep, you know, when you really get into it.
I know what you said, Ms. Carol, because I do the same thing. And I'm finding myself, you know, she's an active listening. And as much as you like to talk, share, and engage, and you want to be heard too. If my attitude is if I'm valuing you, so I'm catching myself, because I know that you have something to say back too. I've got to pull it in. I have to, because I value you. Disrespectful. You won't bully this conversation. I'm just going to be heard. But I value you, so I want to pull it in. When I catch myself, because I'm noticing that I'm flowing, because I can flow. Pull it in, because I want to hear what it's to say. And it's important. And sometimes I'll even say that to them, so that way, if they've already picked it up in love, let them not mean that. I'm flowing, so I can pull my strength in, because there's a strength. You have to learn how to hone that strength. Tame their strength, so you won't lose me. That's how I feel.
So, yeah.
That's active listening too.
I was just going to say, like, you know, just to piggyback off of Ms. Carolyn, sometimes you'll have a conversation with somebody and what they're saying is so engaging that you already have a response to what they're saying in your head, and you're so anxious to want to say it that you'll look like you want to say something. The other person will continue to speak, but to their eyes, it looks like you're really excited about what they have to say. So continue to listen. That's actively listening, because they're going to continue to finish what they're saying, and they're excited that you're excited about what they have to say. Is that clear?
What about the reverse?
Hold on.
When they pick
Hold
up
on.
what you're not listening,
Wait.
you're not hearing.
Lavita,
So what do you do then, Sam?
Bernita, I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying, I was thinking about as far as the active listening, I was reading the delayed judgment, and I've had to do that at times, sometimes when I'm not agreeing with something, someone is saying, you don't want to turn, sometimes your eyes can turn off and you see, that I don't agree with something. I have to, focus and look at the person and finish listening to what they're saying and let them speak without, giving that signal that
Have
you're,
that respect, right?
that you're not turning off on them and saying,
That's
Yes.
you continue the eye contact.
Listen not merely to the words, but to the feeling of the content. Then you're sincere, be sincerely interested in what the other person is talking about. And you restate what the person said. Ask clarification questions, things like that. And be aware of your own feelings and strong opinions. And lastly, if you have to state your own views, say them only after you listen.
Yep.
I think those steps that Dale, just reiterated are really important steps.
And especially when a person is sensitive and they're
Right.
picking up that you're not heeding them, you have to make those adjustments that you just said. Now, whatever you did catch on, because if you're being honest, I kind of flew out there. I'm checking on mail or my cooking. I caught that you said this, that, and the thing. Now, would you repeat that so I can get back on track? Because first of all, in my mind, I'm valuing you, and I know that I offended you in some way. And we need to do that. That would be the next step. But that probably's not in here.
Right.
But if you value relationship or communication, or if the person points and say, you have to do that so they can continue on. And then they'll walk away and say, you know what, I can't talk to Miss Carol because she's not listening to me. I don't even waste my time talking to her because I came from something. She was, I forgot what she was saying. And they won't never tell you that. They just won't stop talking to you. Once things happen.
Alright, so that's the active listening. Let's take a break because I think it's starving. We'll come back at 3:15. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about table topics and watch 2 videos. Sorry, well, yeah, let me just stop the recording.